Welcome, everybody. I'm Robin Blanton. I'm going to help Mr. Sexton, Ms. Wilson, and others this afternoon keep things moving, and we're starting right on time. So welcome to the 12th edition of Barbecue and Poetry, or Poetry and Barbecue. I'd like to introduce first Sarah Wilson, who is the Executive Director of the LRJF Jackson. Sarah?
Hi, thank you all so much for coming to the 12th annual Poetry and Barbecue. Many of you have probably been to a Poetry and Barbecue before. Will you raise your hand if you've been to one before? Okay, lots of you. So this is my very first. I very much hope it's my first annual, so you'll see me again next year. But my first one, so it's all kind of new to me, but I'm excited. I have to tell you, when I applied for the job, did a little background research, and I looked at the website, and I saw Poetry and Barbecue, and I thought, this is the place I want to work. Poetry and barbecue together. So I hope you're all going to stay for the entire event. We're going to have our featured poets at 4, and then we're going to have a great band and barbecue out of the back veranda after that. But without further ado, we're going to move on to our first event. And let me start by introducing Susan Lovelace, who's the Vice President of Programs, and she's going to tell you about our first group of readers.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm Susan Lovelace. Good to see so many familiar faces here. I'm Vice President of Programming at LRJF Jackson, and I'm here to introduce our local poet readers for today. And we've got 7 writing groups now active with over 88 total members. So if you're interested in joining a writing group, go on the website. Or if you're interested in leading a writing group, we're always looking for group leaders as well. Our first poet today is from the Night Writers group. They meet at night, and it's Jackie Jacobs.
The title of my poem, ready? Inhale, exhale. The world around her closed in, swallowing her whole. She pulled open the heavy door of her aged log cabin, slipping into the deep blue-black night. Her way illuminated through wisps of clouds, a light unique to the Smoky Mountains. She needed perspective, his perspective. She made her way to the pitch pine, the tallest tree around, nestled her body into the cradle made by the 100-year-old roots pushing through the earth, and waited. He would come to her, of that she was sure. First came the change in the smell of the air. She inhaled a deep nasal breath to fill her lungs with his essence. She let her eyes roam the sky with the languid stroll of a summer's evening, parting the clouds, separating them, searching for the light. She needed the light, his light. This lover of her younger years, long departed from this earthly realm, he came to her as she knew he would, ignoring the vow till death do us part. She exhaled, letting him rest until the next time.
Thank you, Jackie. Next we have from our Pinpoints writing group. They meet in Sebastian in the mornings, and Kenna.
Good afternoon. I'm Ann Kenna. My poem is Seeing Red. A generalization, an admonition to a burgeoning poet. Avoid using the primary colors, red, blue, yellow. Refer to your color chart. Replace those common words with more vivid, descriptive ones. And said struggling poet retreated to her room, wrote pages of prosy poetry dedicated to the proposition that all colors are not created equal. And her work retreated into the netherworld of numbed audiences. She pored faithfully over the articles of respectable poetic forms. She grew weary until one day, Article 4, Common Phrases, stalled traffic epiphany. The world according to Red starts out with one voice, then three, becomes a protest, a movement. Article 7, Paragraph 2, oblique references to previously published works in various genres. A dynamic shift in the poetical landscape. Red tide was rising, stepping forward out of the shadows, claiming its place at the forefront of concise vocabulary. Red everywhere. Red apple of Eden, Red Sea parting, red devils, red fires of hell, red hot chili peppers, pokers, mamas, red army, red ants. The redcoats are coming. Red lights, red wagons, red wheelbarrows. Red noses on reindeer, creepy clowns on the inebriates, on cold days, on flu days. Red tape, red ink, red letter day, red states, red flags, red necks, red stripes, red cross, red blood, red badge of courage. Red bowls, fireballs explode over the land, the heavens reveal the word, red planet, red dwarves, red skies at night, red dawns. The red heart speaks on chalk candy. Be mine, I'm yours, forever. The red heart bleeds passion, anger, pain, lust, compassion. And against all she knew, she put down the list and began to write of red. And she saw it was good.
Next, we have a group from Poets Corner, and the first one is Craig Paul.
My voice is kind of soft. Can you hear me in the back? Thank you. My name is Craig Paul. My first barbecue, and my poem is called Meet Me at the Garden. Days are long, seasons are short. The wind, a work song, brings rain as an escort. Meet me at the garden. A work song, life, seeds grow, plants midwife, flowers show. Meet me at the garden. My hands, your hands, in the soil, life's contentment, not toil. Meet me at the garden.
Next, we have Susan Dennison.
Hi, I'm Susan Dennison. This is also my first barbecue. I'm very excited to be here. The name of my poem is called Chrome. Scarred memories linger on injured souls. Who is to blame for making a good man bad? You play until you win, tangled in your web of disillusionment, karmic debts left to pollute another generation. Watching you in the driveway in your trance-induced affair, treating your vehicle, tenderly nurturing, washing, polishing, and protecting until it glistened, each inch shined, for everyone to see that this was something well loved and well cared for. You showed me how to fold your pants, fresh out of the dryer, pressing them just so, crisp, seams down each leg, no ironing needed. Hearing your familiar call to the neighbor over the stone while asking him, "How goes the battle?" Wishing just once you would turn and ask me, so I could say, "Not so good, Dad, not fair to Midland." So, if this reincarnation gig is real, I've decided next time I'll come back as Chrome. Then you will display me, maybe even on your Harley, well polished and stunning. People will say, "Look how she glistens. Look how she shines. Look how well loved and cared for she is." You will smile and proudly say, "She is mine." Thank you.
Now we have a group from our oldest writing group, the Porch Poets and the Pole Barn Poets combined, and we have Kyle.
Hi, I'm Kyle Potvin. This is how she weeps. Face into petals, scent of mother. On her back, lone planet in every sleepless place. She weeps bone broth and supplement, coffee, coffee, coffee. Don't take them away. The world keeps taking things. Hatchlings crawling to the wrong light. Children stumbling into cadavers and strewn parts. Fox and flamingo, one destroying the other, sharp teeth grinding. Once, she would have dried her eyes. Thank you.
Next, we have Faye Picardi.
Hi, I'm Faye Picardi, and I'm reading The Scrub Jay Sits Her Nest. Outside my bedroom window, a scrub jay builds her nest. Twigs, grass, fibers, rootlets. She arranges and rearranges, lifts up, nudges, pokes into place. Her beak a stylus, her work an art. Soon she will sit her nest, showing only the crown of her head, and below it, her pale face ringed in azure. Cobalt feathers cover her body. She will not move. She will wait patiently, as my daughter did, to be ready to know wonder. Thank you.
Next, we have Christine Light.
Hi, I'm Christine Light, and I'll be reading a poem titled Don't Want to Know. There's a place I go when I don't want to know what matters to anyone else, when I can't take a moment to be liked, to be loved, when I have to try my golden glove on my right hand instead of my left, when the cleft in my hip bone says you're no longer invited to the party or to the late night somber romper flowing over with men who picked clovers for little girls when they were little boys, and each wanted nothing so much as they wanted their mother's love. There's one of these boys I run to, the place I go when I don't want to know. He stands firm in fields of wheat, holds my small hand in his, looks to his feet as if to make sure he can still run if he must, if thunderclouds shift to catch us in the field that cradles our hearts in its stalks, steadfast in the clinch of the wind. Thank you.
Next, we have Mark Hinckley.
Hello, I am Mark Hinckley. This poem is called Shattered. You have probably already noticed the shattered glass at the foot of the palace steps. Ah, yes, I remember how your size 7 glided with such grace into that crystal slipper, new love and great expectation. And yes, I recall your disappointment at learning there was only one, not a pair, which caused you to limp whenever you wore it. Perhaps it would have made a better butter dish than the wine goblet you constantly made of it. I can't remember when the Technicolor drained from our romance, giving way to grainy black and white, your unease as a princess so pronounced. As you read this, I'm off to another ball with your stepsister, the one you called wretched and hateful. People have so many sides, don't they? We were joining your stepmother, who you thought a mean-spirited ogre, at a villa we rented near Florence. Oh yes, to what address should I send along your things?
And our next group is from a group of the Tuesday Writers with Gene C. Lander Miller.
Hi. My heart is a fancy place. It was once a come-as-you-are kind of place. I opened the door wide and loved without measure and did not discriminate, for I thought love was free, that is, until I opened my heart to you. You scurried in with your tale of betrayal, looking for a safe place to land. I took you in, story and all. You found love and compassion, but that wasn't enough. You took and you took until the larder was empty. Then you raged when I had no more to give, then broke all I held precious. But love is not free. It costs the giver. It costs the heart. And ravaged hearts need time to heal and a gentle, abiding presence when learning to trust again. My heart is a fancy place. The seating is limited and the hour grows late. So, if you should get an invitation, consider yourself a cherished guest. Make a proper reservation. Go clean yourself up. Use your best manners and make your mama proud. Do not take more than you are offered or overstay your welcome, and we will get along just fine. My heart is a fancy place.
Next, we have Jackie Grady.
Good afternoon. She didn't lie. I'm Jackie. This is Aunt. Rain fell, thick and slushy, soon to be snow. She stomped her feet, her rubber boots yawning as she yanked them over her ankles and placed them by the door to sit in their puddles. She would die someday, but not today. That thought would be pushed away until I moistened her lips with a sponge, softening the broken skin, cut and ragged, shallow breath. No, instead today she held a box from a bakery, its flimsy white lid flipped back. Donuts. I picked the chocolate covered, my cousin the powdered. Sometimes I'd eat two. These are the memories of my weekend sleepovers. She was my evergreen. Every event, holiday and birthday. The first to arrive, the last to leave. Even during those years when I had no space for family, she'd puncture the silence of my sullen mood with a hello or goodbye. When I returned to deliver her eulogy, changing into my black dress before the mirror, hanging on the wall of my childhood bedroom, I kept waiting and waiting and waiting to hear her voice filtering down the hallway. And that absence was my first memory of her gone.
And now we have Crystal Bujold.
I'm Crystal Boujol, trying my hand at poetry. Title of my poem is 205 over 83. Blood pressure, high, too high. Horsey on a merry-go-round, up and down. Driving down Old Dixie, not cool. In this place where soldiers died, tried to hide, spied and lied, like I do every day I leave home. I drive through here and I hear, stay in your place. Oh, okay, got a job to do. Keep folks safe, comfortable. Smile, baby, smile. Practice, hold that face. The one that says, I'm okay, you're okay, we're okay. No, we ain't when I see Old Dixie, or Plantation Estates, or Cracker Barrel. And as good as the fried chicken and watermelon is, I lie. Damn, I lie. The BP machine doesn't. 120 over 61. I don't have to sigh everywhere. My church, my pen pals, my health, we laugh, confident that I am okay. You are okay. We are okay. No lie, we are. Wishing others who are would be some enlightened color so I could know without thinking and breathe and don't be tired, smiling and watch the numbers of the blood pressure stay down, way down, low down shame that I have to lie, down dead before I don't have to lie, sigh. Oops, maybe when it's 0 over 0.
I would like to take just one moment for all of the writing group leaders to take a stand and take a bow and thank them for all their. All right. Thank you. Sean, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. It's a wonderful session. I want to acknowledge that it is Earth Day, and I have. Do you know why it's Earth Day? I heard of an interview on NPR. Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know who you've probably heard of him. And he said that the reason we have Earth Day is connected to the fact that we have in our cultural history 2 views of the Earth. And the first view comes from the space station, of course, and what we should consider as the close orbit. And he said, you can liken your thought of that to that. In other words, we have this view that is analogous to the Earth is an apple, and that's the skin. And that's how far away, which is to say, not very far at all. And then when we traveled to the moon for the first time, and we had that view of the planet from the moon, that is the same, that's the anniversary of the first Earth Day. That's when we started celebrating and thinking about. And all of that was an answer to the question, how important is a space program? And that was one result of it. So I have a poem by Laura Riding Jackson, called Earth. Have no wide fears for Earth. Its universal name is nowhere. If it is Earth to you, that is your secret. The outer records leave off there, and you may write it as it seems. And as it seems, it is. A seeming stillness amid seeming speed. Heavens unseen or only seen, dark or bright space, unearthly space, is a time before Earth was, from which you, inward, move toward perfect now. Almost the place it is, not yet, potential here of everywhere. Have no wide fears for it. Its destiny is simple, to be further what it will be. Earth is your heart, which has become your mind, but still beats ignorance of all it knows, as miles deny the compact present, whose self-mistrusting past they are. Have no wide fears for Earth. Destruction only on wide fears shall fall. So I've been asked to read one of my poems. I was not going to do that, but apparently we have time. Yes. That would be perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, as you checked in today, you were assisted by youth volunteers from Sebastian River High School, Future Business Leaders of America. They deserve a round of applause. They've been very helpful, and we're going to get to your poem momentarily, but this is a station identification break to thank some folks. Also, you noticed the student helpers with raffle ticket boxes. It's not too late to buy raffle tickets until 6:30. There's some wonderful items out there, so take advantage of the opportunity. Also, Chad Leonard, raise your hand. Chad Leonard, Vero Beach Book Center is in the back. Thank you for being here, Chad. Vero Beach Book Center and Chad do a great job every year assisting with the sale of books. And there are a couple of items. One of our poets today, Jim May. Jim, raise your hand up high, Jim. I know folks are going to see you soon, but there's Jim May. Jim, thank you. Jim has a book, you can get volumes from each of our poets at the back table, but Jim has a book debuting here, Unusually Grand Ideas. Also, there's a volume of the Laura Riding Jackson Foundation publication, Decade, 10 Years of Verse from the Poetry and Barbecue Events is on sale in the back, so take advantage of that as well. You have a couple of drink tickets on the program that you got. The beer is being sponsored by Orchid Island Brewery. Alden Bing, thank you for contributing to this event. Fabulous beer. Also, a special thanks to Rob and Michelle Wayne from Varietals and More. They've provided the wine for today, a drink ticket, red for wine or red for beer. You've got a choice there. Also, there are any number, many different contributors to the event today to make this a wonderful occasion. Some of those sponsors, and we want to give a shout out to Raymond James and Associates, the Beachfront Boulevard office, to Bill Penny and Marine Bank, to Quail Valley Charities, to Joanne and Jim Mitchell Foundation, Marie Stiefel, that beautiful lady in the back is the you blush nicely, Marie. The crown jewel of the Laura Riding Jackson Foundation. Warren Oblick and Carol Ludwig, thank you so much. Ocean Grill, Jack Jacobs, Charlotte Terry, Chris Sexton, the A. Bacchus Gallery. How many of you grew up here in the area and took art lessons with Beanie Bacchus? Any of you? Yes, gentleman in the back. Yeah, well, you have an opportunity to bid on a Bacchus G. Clay out there. Wonderful. Calvin Reams, Farm Bureau Insurance, thank you. At the Vero Beach Book Center, you've already gotten an acknowledgement, Chad. How many times am I going to have to say this? Bonnie McDougall, Logan and Nick Geslin, Joe Collins, Zach Gruber, the Driftwood Resort and Waldo Restaurant. Thank you, and there are additional folks that I'll mention in a moment, but Sean, why don't you come and read something for us?
Our theme is, of course, love, marriage, conjugation. And I have a poem about our lives, the progress of our lives, my wife and mine together, my wife Sharon and I. We've been together 42 years. And and that's the same amount of time that two of our poets have been together too, David and Barbara, who are going to report in on that. We're going to try to cover this topic on When Poets Marry. But this one is really about our household. It's called And Now Our Aged House. And now our aged house has run its course, disgorging children into the universe. How many days since the certificate of occupancy was granted, and into time we within this space embarked upon life with no map, no instrument, save our wish and blind intent. And where once in the yard we stood, beside blonde, tightly bound stacks of wood, the fragrance of a forest misplaced, abroad and still soon walls framed and braced, and risen to sudden interruption of light in the place we call our life. Walls now stayed upon an unblemished green pudding, formed and fleshed by mason's juk and trowel, smoothed and cured, set in motion in one dappled afternoon, the long ascent, rafter by angle, birdmouth and header, to the ridge, apex of our determination, month by man, minute by nail, a rendition of where the world stays still. Our inside has come of it. But time insists. The hard angles of living set in days tell on us and everything. Opening joinery, catching windows, racking doors, points of resistance grown weary. The world finds ingress through roof and wall, mortar and glass, rustling in the closet, creaks in the stair, and mouse inveigled very air, parsing threshold and latch to be with us here, with heat and damp, cousins of rain and fire, and how within its own footstep a place can walk and go nowhere, whereby fences no longer make sense. Storm-felled shade laurels that once showed us where to live, now replanted in maple and cypress, dug up from the fallows across the road, and like tomorrows have multiplied and filtered familiar light into old rooms. An addition, a new porch which seems now to have always been, constructed upon damage between tempests outlasted, leaking valleys, darkened space, confused electricity, the old disrupted and improved, an outdoor hearth and terrace with half of heaven to roof away after we danced and to be certain stargazed 3 years. The summer chimney nested with swifts arriving from the sky, a wayward smoke halting all immolation into early autumn when they fly, heaven knows where. Time spoken in all, and on farthing breeze a soft caterwaul. In place of quiet, the new neighbors, cattle grazing old eastward acres, now land ditched and dried in surrounds of lost citrus lands, banished sounds, and the next world has its way with us as a flooding river flowing past. We remain people of our settling and stay, for wings to find and carry us away. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we're in our 30th anniversary of this organization, which is it's an amazing thing. How many things do you know have lasted 30 years? Especially in this world. And we had Carl Hyacin come to the community church several months ago and do a program, and we decided not to let it go at that. And on November 2nd, in celebration of our anniversary, we have U.S. Poet Laureate Billy Collins coming. And we're going to have two different opportunities to spend time with him. We will do another program in that grand hall, but we also are going to have a luncheon with a poet. And it's still a bit early. We don't really have tickets. We don't have everything laid out, but please keep an eye on all of that, and we hope that you will come and support and in the same wonderful way you've come to this event, and it'll be cool. He's wonderful. How many of you know of Billy Collins? There's just a few of you. Yeah. I always wonder. There's nothing more obscure than a world famous poet, and I wonder, when you say, well, Billy Collins is coming, does everybody know who that is? And but you have been called, you who fill this room. So if we walked out on the street 2 miles away in the mall, not sure. Yes.
I thought you might ask. So I found something about Billy Collins.
Oh, okay.
No, stand right here. Hey, hang
Okay.
on, don't go far. He once said, while the novelist is banging on his typewriter, the poet is watching a fly in the window pane. Collins is widely considered the most popular poet in America, with the exception of the 4 poets who will be here today. Billy Collins grew up in Queens. His mother was a nurse who could recite verse on numerous subjects, and his father was an electrician who used to bring home copies of Poetry magazine. Collins was a focused and voracious reader, tracking Compton's Encyclopedia at the age of 4, before moving on to books like Black Beauty, The Yearling, and the Lassie series. His mother read to him often, and Collins said, "I have a secret theory that the people who are addicted to reading are almost trying to recreate the joy, the comfortable joy of being read to as a child by a parent or a friendly uncle or an older sibling. Being read to as a child is one of the great experiences in life." How many of you have been read to as a child? No doubt that's why you're here today. It's a wonderful thing. Collins never attended a writing program or took writing workshops. Is this more info than you wanted to know?
No, go for
All
it.
right, all right. Collins never attended a writing program or took writing workshops, though he did meet poet Robert Frost when Frost visited his class at Holy Cross College. The students were shy, though, so Frost spent most of the evening talking to the Jesuits. Collins remembers mostly staring into his soup. He published his first poems in the back of Rolling Stone magazine. They paid $35 a poem. He didn't publish his first book until he was 40 years old. He said, "I thought I would be completely content if I was recognized at some point later in my life as a third-rate Wallace Stevens." Billy Collins uses a Uniball Onyx Micro Point pen in a 9x7 notebook to draft his poems before typing them out. When he thinks he might have enough for a book, he puts all the pages on the floor, walks on the top of them in his stocking feet, trying to figure out the order, and he revises his work carefully, he says, because revision can grind a good impulse in the dust. Billy Collins is coming here in November. You don't want to miss him.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I think that it's time to go get some of that good wine and beer, and to investigate the raffle. I have a feeling you want to do another.
Yeah,
I do want to acknowledge Jim. Jim Wilson is our videographer, and we have recorded, I think maybe all, or at least most of our programs.
I think you have.
We have footage.
Yeah.
And,
Archived.
yeah, for those 12 years.
Yeah, thank you, Jim, for providing the footage today, and also to the children of Eugene and Dot Lyons, who have provided their Airbnb as a housing for our guests. The children of Peggy Lyon, you here this afternoon? Usually
She's not here yet,
not
but
here
she's
yet.
coming, and we'll
All right.
acknowledge her when she is.
All right, so as Sean just mentioned, we're going to take a short break. And while we're on break, you can look again at those wonderful items that are available for silent auction. And the winners of the silent auction will be announced at 6:30. And there are some raffle items. Tickets will still be available. Stuff those baskets with raffle items. You might get lucky. But the raffle items have been donated by local businesses, including Baci Trattoria, the Italian Grill, ABC Printing, Renee Guerin, Emily Trimmel and Palm House Gallery, Bob Marshbanks and the Pipe Den. I saw Sean eyeing those cigars and putting a ticket in one of that basket.
I'm afraid so.
Indian River Clay, Vero Beach Shooting Clay Sports, Shack Groves, Clean Extreme House Cleaning Services, and Sand Ridge Golf Club. Thank you all for the donations you have provided. So let's take a break, come back here in about a half hour.
Yep.
In about a half hour, and we'll move on to the main event. Thank you for being here.